The Legend of the Nian Monster. Long ago in China, there lived a ferocious monster with fearsome horns, jagged teeth, and vicious talons. Its home was in the murky depths of the seas, but on the first day of every year, the creature would awaken from its underwater slumber and clamber on shore to prowl through the villages in search of food. It would devour people and livestock, and if any unfortunate children were playing outside, they too would disappear. Because it happened once a year, the monster was known as Nian, which means year in Chinese. This savage beast devoured many people and destroyed countless homes each year. The villagers lived in fear of this beast, and just before New Year's Eve, all the villagers would gather whatever belongings they could and escape to remote mountains to avoid Nian's attack. One memorable New Year's Eve, when all the villagers were frantically packing and preparing to set off to seek refuge in the mountains, into the village came a strange old man. He was dressed in torn and tattered rags, hobbling on a walking stick, but his eyes were bright and piercing, and his hair and beard gleamed like silver. Consumed by panic, the villagers were bolting their doors, boarding up the windows, and cramming their bags full of the food and warm clothing they would need when hiding in the mountains. Everything was in chaos, and no one welcomed or took any notice of the strange visitor. A kindly old lady who lived by herself had just finished packing her things. She hoisted her bags over her shoulders, almost bent double by the weight. She was just about to lock her doors when she caught sight of the thin old man wandering round the village, looking bemused. Did he not know that death awaited anyone who remained in the village that night? She called out to him urgently, warning him of the terror that was to come, and urged him to flee to the mountains with her. He turned to her in surprise and inquired, "Why do you fear this creature? There are so many of you. Surely you could fight it off?" "The Nian monster is vicious and spares no one," the old lady cried despairingly. "It can and it will destroy every living creature in the village. There is no time to waste. We must leave at once if we hope to live." The old man slowly stroked his long silver beard and said thoughtfully, "If you will give me lodging in your house tonight while you are away, I will rid your village of this beast forever." The old lady looked at him sympathetically. "He's obviously lost his mind," she thought to herself. "Come with me," she said kindly. "I know of a warm cave up in the mountains, and there we will be safe. I have packed freshly steamed buns in my bag, and there is enough for both of us. Look, the night is almost upon us. We must set off now." But the old man was adamant and insisted that he would stay the night. Eventually, the old lady left and escaped to the mountains alone, shaking her head at the foolishness of this old man. She would never see him again, she sighed. At midnight, as was its yearly habit, the Nian monster broke into the village again, snorting and sniffing greedily in anticipation of a hearty feast. It sensed immediately the subtle change in atmosphere. In the past, the entire village would be enveloped in darkness and silence, the scent of human fear lingering in the air. But this time, one of the houses was brightly lit. The Nian's fiery eyes flashed, and it lumbered towards the house, snarling savagely. As it neared the house, it caught sight of the huge red banners and cloths that the old man had hung over the doors and windows, and the many candles that were lit inside the house. The beast froze in its tracks. It trembled and squalled, glaring at all the strange things. The colours and lights stirred within it a great fear that it had never felt before. At that very moment, the loud cracking sounds of burning bamboo exploded in the courtyard. The front door burst open, and the old man sauntered out, wearing a red gown and roaring with laughter. The Nian yowled in terror, turned on its heels and fled, its tail between its legs. It disappeared into the dark night. In the morning, the people returned to the village with apprehension in their eyes, bracing themselves for the scene of destruction that met them every year. They were astounded to find everything intact and undamaged. The old lady, who had been worrying all night about the foolish old man whom she was sure would not survive the night, cried out in surprise and delight. It dawned on her that the old man was no ordinary man, and that he had come to save them from the Nian. She hastened to the other villagers and told them about the old man. The excited villagers flocked to the old lady's house and found the red banners, cloths and papers stuck on the doors and windows, the candles in the house, and the burnt bamboo sticks in the courtyard. The old man appeared before them and spoke to them. "I cannot protect you forever. The monster only has power over you because you fear it. It is not as powerful as you think it is. It fears the colour red, and it is terrified of loud noises and strange creatures. So every year spread red across your village. Hang red signs on every door. Make loud noises with drums, cymbals, music, firecrackers and fireworks. And to protect your children, dress them in red. Give them face masks and lanterns." Then he disappeared. The villagers did as the old man instructed, and the Nian never returned. To celebrate the triumph over the Nian monster, people dressed in red clothes and visited their neighbours to share the joy and congratulate each other on surviving the year monster. From that day onwards, every New Year's Eve, people would decorate their houses with red banners just like this. And they would put up lanterns. They would light candles, burn bamboo, set off fireworks to ward off all evil. The entire village would be ablaze with lights, and people would stay up to welcome the new year. These traditions have continued till this day, and the Chinese New Year is also called Guo Nian, which means surviving the Nian's attack. The first day of Chinese New Year is always in January or February, and it coincides with the first new moon of the year. It's also called the Spring Festival because it heralds the beginning of spring. People dress up in new red clothes and visit their families and friends, congratulating one another with a hearty 恭喜发财 on being able to greet a brand new year. Children often present 2 oranges to their parents to wish them sweetness in their lives, and the adults give the children red envelopes with money inside for good luck. It is a time of gathering, of reunions, of feasting and celebrations, a time of letting go of the past and welcoming the future.
每条大街小巷，每个人的嘴里，见面第一句话就是恭喜恭喜，恭喜恭喜恭喜。